Beautiful. Okay, I'm just showing the audience Daniel's session.
So, let me introduce, for people who were not here yesterday, who are here today, welcome to the conference. My name is Patty Victor. I'm the president of the Matthew Reardon Center for Autism, located here in Savannah, Georgia. The Matthew Reardon Center for Autism is the host for this conference. We hope
take this out of your way.
Of equal quality, but we are glad that you are here and hope that you get a lot out of it. Our intention is for you to leave with your imaginations charged and with tools that will help you work with people who have autism and make their lives much better. Our speaker this morning is Daniel. Your speaker this morning is Daniel Windler. I came across Daniel on his TEDx talk, which has now been viewed over 200,000 times. And I was so impressed with his presentation, with his story, with his carriage, with his obvious intellect, that he was the first speaker we looked at that granted that she could do this date. And he had a wonderful lunchtime, he and his mother and dad, lunchtime presentation yesterday. I think you're going to really enjoy hearing Daniel. Daniel's currently working on his doctorate. He's currently a doctoral student in clinical psychology at George Fox University. He was diagnosed with Asperger's syndrome in high school. He has wrote a book, Social Skill, Improve Your Social Skills, which has now been released in hard copy. Daniel will be doing a book signing this afternoon after Temple Grandin's keynote address. His book signing will be located in the lobby. And I can't see my notes here in the dark, so Daniel will have to tell you whatever he wants you to know about him that I can't read. So welcome, Daniel.
Okay, hello everybody. Can everybody hear me okay? Yes. Cool. Oh, I need to not go over there because there's feedback. So thank you all so much for coming. This is an incredible turnout, and I'm blown away by everybody who came out to speak. I have, I think, a great workshop prepared for you, so hopefully you will be glad you came. A couple of quick housekeeping things before we jump in. First of all of you should have had a packet and then a pre-conference survey. If you don't have that, raise your hand, and one of my wonderful assistants will get that out to you. Cool. So if you could just take like 30 seconds and fill out the pre-conference survey now, before the survey, or before the conference, that would be amazing. The second thing is, just so you know, we're going to do one break at about 9:45 and one break at about 10:45. So if you got to leave before then, totally fine, but ideally, you try to wait until those breaks so that you can sort of get the full lesson before you duck out. Two other things. One is that my target audience for this is teens and young adults on the spectrum. That's who I'm talking to. If you're a parent, if you're an educator, if you're just a supporter of us folks on the spectrum, you know, absolutely, I think there's a lot that you're going to take away from this. But just so you know, I'm going to be talking specifically to my peers on the spectrum. And I'm going to be aiming this for teens and young adults that are relatively high functioning. So if your area of focus is kiddos or folks that have a few more challenges, you're going to have to adapt some of what you're learning here to those specific populations that you work with. But again, I think that you're going to get a lot out of it. Just wanted you to sort of know what to expect doing in. So let's get started. This is me. Not me today, obviously, but this is me as a beautiful baby boy growing up in Minnesota in the summer of 1998. I was a beautiful kid that had a lot of advantages. I had a wonderful family that loved me. I had a big sister that always watched out for me. And most importantly, I had an impeccable sense of style. And look that was one styling baby. I think that was my peak of fashion sense, unfortunately. So I had a lot of advantages growing up, but I also had one really big problem. I was awkward. I mean, really awkward. I was really awkward, you guys. So, and we're laughing at these photos now, but at the time it was really hard because my awkwardness meant that when I would try to make friends with somebody, they would ignore me at best or reject me and tease me at worst. It meant that when it came time for recess, all the other kids would be playing, and I would be sitting by myself alone. It meant that after rejection, I started to wonder if maybe I was the problem, if maybe there was something bad about me, if maybe there was some reason why it was justified that everybody was rejecting me. And so middle school and elementary school were hard. I faced a lot of rejection, I faced a lot of teasing, I faced a lot of doubt about my own worth. But then things started to change in high school, because just before I entered high school, I was diagnosed with Asperger's syndrome. And that was a pivotal moment for me, because I realized that it wasn't that I was bad, it's just that I was bad at something. It wasn't that I was doomed to forever be rejected, it's just that I didn't have the social skills that I needed to be successful. And so I thought, okay, well, people can learn skills. And so let me try to learn this. And so I started studying social skills like you might study a foreign language. I bought books on body language, etiquette, conversation, you name it, I studied it. I asked my parents endless questions about why did this person do this and what should I do in this situation. I went to all sorts of social events where I could practice my skills, and little by little it started to pay off until by the time I graduated high school, I no longer felt like school was a battleground and everybody else was on the opposite army. I no longer felt like a reject. I felt like somebody who belonged. And then I went to college and I made incredible friends. And I had my first girlfriend, which, guys, if you have never dated somebody, I recommend it. It's a good experience. And I started to experience just all of the joys of relationship. I started to experience all of the things that I had never really been able to experience as a rejected kid alone on the margins. And I started to think, you know, I have an incredible community, but there's so many other people that don't. And so is there something that I can do that will let me give back? Is there some way that I could take the things that I've learned and share them with the world? And so in 2012, I launched ImproveYourSocialSkills.com, which is a website where I wrote all of the advice that I had on conversation and body language and making friends, all of the stuff that I wished that I had known growing up as a kid. I wrote it down and I put it on the web for people to read. And when I launched it, I didn't know if anybody would read it. I didn't know if anybody would find it helpful. And last year, I just got my 1 millionth visitor. So apparently people did think it was helpful. In 2013, I spoke at TEDx University of Arizona about my life with Asperger's. That's the TEDx talk that Patty was referencing. You can see it online yourself if you go on YouTube and search for my name. And that was an opportunity for me to share my story and for me to find that, wow, like people resonated with me. Even people not on the spectrum understand what it's like to be the odd man out. Even people not on the spectrum understand what it's like to struggle. And so I was like, I've got something here that I need to share. And so in 2014, I started my doctoral studies in clinical psychology because I feel like this is my life's work, and I want to take everything that I've learned about social skills and combine it with everything that the research says about how people make friends, how people build communities, and see what I can do with that. So that's my story, that's why I'm here, that's why I'm talking to all of you guys. And there's a lot of impressive things in this list, and a lot of things that I'm just really humbled that I've been able to accomplish. But the thing that I'm most proud of is something that every single one of you in this room has the potential to do. And that is, when I knew that the things that I wanted in life, the things that were meaningful to me, relationships, friendships, all of that, when I knew that I would have to work on something that I was really bad at to get there, I sat down and I started to work. And when I made that decision, I actually activated something that the science calls a growth mindset. The lady in the picture is Dr. Carol Dweck. She's a Stanford psychologist who's discovered this idea of fixed mindset and growth mindset. And a fixed mindset is somebody who believes their abilities are fixed. They believe that they're good at the things they're good at, and they're bad at the things they're bad at, and that's just the way that the world works. And so if somebody with a fixed mindset encounters a problem that they can't solve on the first try, they just give up. They say, oh, I'm not a math person. I'm not a good cook. I'm not a musician. I'm not a social person, whatever. And they give up and they go back to what they feel like they're good at. But when somebody with a growth mindset encounters a problem, they say, okay, I'm not good at this, but I can get better. Dr. Dweck describes it like this. She says, in a growth mindset, people believe that their most basic abilities can be developed through dedication and hard work. Brains and talent are just the starting point. So again, a growth mindset says, I might not be good at social skills today, but with dedication and hard work, I can get better. And so I'm going to show a quick video that sort of explains this idea, and I think it explains it better than I can, because the video has Batman, and you can't beat Batman. So Batman doesn't show up right away, so just be patient.
What is a growth mindset? We can liken the theory of growth and fixed mindset to the story of the tortoise and the hare. To have a fixed mindset means to believe one's basic abilities, intelligence, and talents are just fixed traits. A growth mindset means that you understand that talents and abilities can be developed through effort, practicing, and persistence. People with a fixed mindset often develop and peak before their peers, appearing to be more intelligent and successful than everyone else. However, this is a dangerous trap to fall into. The moment we believe that success is determined by an ingrained level of ability, we will be brittle in the face of adversity. This is what happens to the hare. The tortoise, however, with a growth mindset, continues to plow through and work hard, overtaking the hare eventually and winning the race. Nice one, Terry.
Thanks.
You're welcome, Terry. How many of us think ourselves as not maths people, or creative, or sociable, or athletic? If we are to fulfill our potentials, we have to start thinking differently. We are not chained or bound to our current abilities. Take this tree, for example. It needs to be fed with lots of minerals and food for it to grow, just like you do. By continuing to nurture and care for this tree, it can grow taller and stronger than other trees. The trunk and branches will literally explode with growth, just like your brain. Your brain is malleable and physically can change size and grow. Even more so at a young age, the activity and growth of the brain during your short teenage years is phenomenal. So how do you do this? Well, there's no shortcut or secret solution. It's as simple as hard work, commitment, and perseverance. In any chosen field or career path, you are certain to have some level of failure at one point. But at each pitfall we come across, you must learn to overcome it. There is a popular movie quote that goes like this: why do we fall, Bruce? So we can learn to pick ourselves back. Batman wasn't born with any superpowers, abilities, or talents, and just as Gotham's Dark Knight understood, he had to train relentlessly to succeed. So must you. Right now, these fixed mindset learners might be ahead of others, but they are afraid of failure. And when they reach the peak that they're comfortable in, they'll just stay there. They will never reach their full potential. Failure is the most essential step to success. And as the growth mindset continues to improve, they will overtake the rest. If you feel like you're in a fixed mindset, don't lose hope, because there is a lot we can do to change that. But start by listening to our fixed mindset voice. And when you hear it, talk back the growth mindset voice. If you hear, I can't do it, add yet. Fixed mindsets can change. So what mindset are you in?
So, in a growth mindset, it boils down to believing that you can improve, improving a little each day, and improving a lot over time. When I decided to do this, when I decided in high school that I believed I could improve, I believed I could get better, that's the thing that led me to the place where I am today. And so a growth mindset is so crucial. But some of you might be thinking, okay, that's very inspirational, and I'm glad that I got to see Batman. But I have autism. I have a neurological condition, and so I can't learn social skills. It just is impossible. And I would say, okay, yeah, you do have autism, and it is difficult. It is going to be maybe more difficult for you than for a lot of other people. But what sounds more difficult, learning social skills as a person on the spectrum, or learning how to paint as somebody who's completely blind? Well, check this out.
If you ask John Bramlett to describe the world, chances are he'll tell you it's colorful. Bramlett is an artist whose work is defined by bold and expressive use of color, which has emotion all its own.
Pure, it's almost like a color blood, like on dirt or soil, you know, I think it's really deep.
He knows a lot about fear and anger and depression, emotions that almost overwhelmed him 9 years ago, when at just 30 years old, complications from epilepsy left him irreversibly blind.
What color was the depression?
Oh my word, it was the worst fly. It was like being in a hole.
He eventually climbed out of that hole by learning to paint.
I do so every so often. More available.
He figured out how to mix the colors by feeling the different textures in the oils.
You can see it's really thick inside. It's good things.
How to apply paint by outlining an image and using his fingers to guide the brush strokes. And finally, how to see his subjects with only his fingertips.
Thank you.
So, Brad Pitt, right?
Yeah, exactly. You called it.
To let Bramlett touch your face is to allow him to imprint your image in his mind. Prove that his fingertips are every bit as perceptive as his eyes once were. He's never seen professional skateboarder Tony Hawk, but after feeling Hawk's face, painted a remarkable portrait. Has never seen his own wife or his young son.
Looks like he's running a goodness.
But it's clear he knows exactly what they look like. Bramlett's art is gaining notice in galleries around the country, and you'll often find him in museums or at schools.
What's the drawing you work on? What's the painting?
I think it's fun.
Oh, really? What's the drawing like?
Teaching children his technique and what he's learned about life and color, which, for John Bramlett, are the same things.
The future is so open, and there's so many things I want to do. It's brilliant. It's just the most brilliant colors. And I can't wait to see it take form, you know, to see it just take shape.
An artist's vision is bright as his art. Don Teague, CBS News.
So, people are amazing, you guys. There's people that are blind that can learn how to paint. We saw yesterday somebody who is terrified of cameras, who learned how to, contain his anxiety and be in front of a camera and do a fantastic job and inspire a lot of people. And you guys have that same capability. You have the same capability to say, I can't do this yet, but I'm going to work on it. And so Dr. Dweck came up with the growth mindset. She's figured that out. She's gotten the book deal, all that. I came up with the social skills growth mindset, which is basically the same thing, but for social skills. Believe that you can learn social skills, improve your social skills a little each day, and succeed socially over time. This is the formula. This is, really, it's the technique to succeed in any area of life. And social skills are no different. We just think that they are for some reason, but they're not. And I'm going to prove it to you. I'm going to prove to you that it's possible to learn social skills in about the next 20 minutes or so. And we're going to use body language as an example. So body language is one of those things that people think is so complicated. Because if you buy a body language book, you're going to open it up and it's going to be filled with all sorts of diagrams and hundreds of pages of, every single meaning of a nose wiggle and an ear twitch and what does it mean if they cross their left leg and all sorts of really complicated things. And you look at it and you say, how could anybody learn this? How could anybody figure out how to use this in a real conversation? And if you have a lot of time, those books can be helpful. And if you're willing to work at it, you can learn from those books. But there is an easier way. See, most body language boils down to two different signals, which I call green light and red light. So, if you are driving down the street and you see a green light, what does that mean? Somebody just call it out. Exactly, it means go. And if you see a red light, what does that mean? Stop. Exactly. So people's body language gives you those same two signals. People will either give you green light body language signals, which say, I like what's going on, this is good, I'm enjoying it, and that means go. That means keep doing what you're doing, keep doing, you don't need to change course, the other person is enjoying what's happening. And then they give you red light body language signals, which means stop. And that means I don't like what's happening. There's a problem going on, and so you need to figure out what the problem is and fix it. Maybe I don't like what you're saying, maybe I'm bored, maybe this room is uncomfortable and I'd like to move, but whatever the reason, I'm signaling to you that there's a problem and you need to fix it before you proceed. So really most body language boils down to these two signals, and it's pretty easy to recognize them if you know what to look for. Green light body language really boils down to three things. First, the person is going to be facing you directly. Like almost everybody is going to be looking at you if they're talking to you, but there's a difference between somebody sort of looking at you over their shoulder and somebody that's facing you with their entire body. So what you want is somebody whose feet are pointed at you, their torso is pointed at you, and their face is pointed at you. And if all of that is pointed at you, then that shows that they're dialed into what you're saying, they're interested, they want to hear more. And then the second piece is closeness. And obviously, somebody doesn't have to be like all up in your business for it to count as green light body language. But if they're moving a little bit closer than they were before, that's a positive sign. So if they take a step closer so they can hear you better, or if they lean forward, those are all signs that show interest and that show comfort. And then relaxation. You know, are they holding, you know, their tension in their shoulders, or are they relaxed? Like, is their face scrunched up, or are they smiling? Those are, you know, if you sort of learn to look for the signs of relaxation, that can be a pretty clear signal that somebody's giving you green light body language. They know what's going on, and they enjoy what's going on. And obviously, you know, this is a simplification. There's some exceptions to this, but for the most part, this works remarkably well. And red light body language is basically the same thing, just in reverse. So if a person starts to face away from you, if a person starts to move away from you, you know, and then if a person tenses up, those are all signs that they don't like what's going on and they want you to fix it. An easy way to remember this is to think about, you know, what would you do with your body if an adorable puppy ran into the room? Somebody want to call it out? Yeah, you'd lean towards the puppy, you know, you'd move closer, you'd face the puppy, you'd relax. And then if a skunk ran into the room, you'd do the opposite. You know, you'd face away, you'd get some distance.